like to keep track of those in my little, so I can rewatch them.
Okay.
I got my book all printed out, the whole book.
Good. I will put the link up on the website. So I'm just reminding myself. And we'll do last week's and this week's.
Okay, just remind us how to get there.
Okay, have you been going through the modules? It's the same place.
Oh, on that, okay, on that website, you mean? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, well, who would like to go first to give us an update on how things have been the last couple of weeks with what we've talked about and what you've been learning? Karen, do you want to go first?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I got my 80-10-10 book, and I got my book printed out, and so I'm all excited about that. And I felt like I was more attentive to what I was eating, but I still, just a second, now I gotta leave this. I gotta leave this. I had to leave my phone. I was more attentive to what I was eating, and I realized I really don't like food of the world. I really don't like worldly food. We did a birthday party here yesterday, so we had hamburgers and cheesecake, and I was like, nope, I don't even like this. So sometimes it's just a process of elimination, realizing, you know, this is what I don't like, and this is what I do like. So that was good to realize I really don't like that food anymore.
Yeah, so what type of food are you not liking?
Well, I just don't like the way I feel about when I eat mixed and heavy foods. So anything that's heavy carbohydrate. But I did my Purium shakes every other day with juicing pretty much every other day. And if I was in a hurry, I would just grab a banana. But I really am loving the Purium shake with the spirulina chocolate mint. The other things that I bought with you helping me online. And it's the first time I've been on a protein drink that doesn't make me feel sick.
Good.
Or have stomach aches, because I have a really
that's wonderful. I'm so glad.
So that was really, really great. And so that's what I really focused on, was doing the spirulina shakes and the raw juicing, the salads and the veggies at night, although I did do some steamed things, but I'm weaning myself to more vegetables, even if they're steamed. So not the perfect example, but I do feel like I'm making good changes and they're positive.
That's wonderful. We're not looking for perfection. We're just on our transition right now, trying to get to where we want to be with our goals. So you're doing great.
And I will be listening.
I just lost you, Karen.
You're on mute, Karen.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I just had the woman who cleans my house just walked in the door, so I've just got a couple of things happening right in this very moment, but I'm right here and I'm going to be listening.
Okay. All right. Chris, I'm so glad you could join us. Looks like, let's see, I can't hear you. Let me see what's up. Is your volume up? You might want to check your headphones, see if the volume's on that. Still can't hear you.
I don't know why I can't see.
I can't hear you.
Does it work like that?
There we go. Yep.
Okay. I don't know why it doesn't work with headphones, but that's weird.
Yeah. Well, how are things going for you, Chris?
So good. I did order the 80-10-10, and I haven't really looked through it, but the last couple of weeks I had pretty much been doing green, like a shake. I do a protein shake in the morning with blueberries and a greens powder, basically, but I also were putting kale and spinach and some banana or berries, and that was kind of like my breakfast. And then I've been doing salads, big salads with lots of different vegetables and fruit. And other than like salmon, I pretty had much had stayed away from any meat products, dairy products, bread products. But then I went to Atlanta this weekend, so it was kind of hard being in that environment with my daughter and everything. So now I'm back to my shakes. I'm back home and back to trying to do my own healthier diet. And I think just the knowledge from the modules just makes you more and more aware of what to stay away from.
Yeah, that's good. So you've been able to keep up with those as well?
No, but I'm moving through them.
Okay, good. Where are you at this point?
Well, I was watching module 3, so I'm hoping to finish 3, 4, and 5, 6 like this week. Get
Okay.
caught.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Wonderful. So did you notice a difference from when you started eating healthier to when you kind of got off that and now going back on?
I just didn't. I mean, I knew I was eating it, but it was like I didn't want to be eating it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know it's not that healthy, and so like even for dessert, one night my daughter's mother-in-law gave us like 4 desserts, the little stuff on a plate. I was like, you can't eat this, you know. And I felt guilty giving it back to her to whatever you need to do with it, but it was like I can't eat this.
Good.
And
How did she respond to that?
I don't know. Her husband cleared the plates, so I don't know if he tossed it or if he saved all these little chocolate treats and cakes and stuff. But it was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
That's a victory. Good job. To be able to say, no, I don't want that. That's really good. Yay, we celebrate that.
And even like I had like a cabbage meatball, cabbage meatballs with cabbage around it. It was like, I can't eat that either. It was like, I'm just like gravitating farther and farther away from all that.
So are you saying you can't eat that because you don't want it or because it's not on the plan? How are you feeling about it?
I don't want to eat it because I really don't want to be eating meat. I don't want to be eating dairy. Like with my diet for cancer, I just really don't want to be eating it. I just feel like all I'm doing is feeding the cancer, and I don't want to be eating it.
Good. Well, that's a big step, just having that self-control to be able to say, no, I'm sorry. And that's one of the things that I had to learn around other people is not to worry what my peers said or thought, even the loved ones. Sometimes we get really concerned about hurting their feelings.
Right.
We've got to pay attention to our bodies and what's happening with them. And when you've got a condition like what you're dealing with, you definitely need to be strong and just say, those are things that I'm not going to be able to do, but I'd love to have some fruit or, salad, or whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a new education, and it's a real transformation of how you've eaten, because for 66 years, that's how I've eaten.
Yeah.
And 99% of the people don't eat that way. So it's like being around it and then making other choices or bringing food. I mean, I realized that I'm going to have to start bringing my own food to a lot of things.
Yeah. Or you can eat beforehand.
But to have something else where I'm not tempted. Although, like right now, it's just like a cigarette. I don't want a cigarette. It's like it kind of goes into that category. It's like I don't want it.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome. You're doing great, Chris.
Thanks.
All right. Linda, let's go with you. How are you doing?
I'm not sure why you can't see me too, because I have it. Oh well.
Yeah,
You do start video. Try start video when you click on it.
Oh, well.
If you go to the little box in the right, does it let you start video?
There you go.
Oh, there we are. Okay, that's what I was almost gonna press that, but I was scared to press it that I might start something.
I know. I had the same fear.
Well, I was doing pretty good. I could tell the emotions were coming up with just at first when we started it. Other people, when you're with other people, you feel like you're being, at least the emotions I went through, I felt like I was being deprived, where actually I know that I was not. And because I know that something's, my body's telling me, it makes me feel sick. I think one time in the evening time, I was getting a little bit hungry and I had a little bit of cooked rice. And I realized, no, I got it down, but it doesn't feel good to me. So I'm not going to do that for my body anymore.
Yeah.
And I realized, well, just like Chris, when you're amongst other people, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging to, unless you bring your own food, which I did not bring my own food at our Easter dinner with my family. And I don't think there was anything there that was raw. Everything was cooked and I just had small portions of it. But now I'm getting back on track and having the shakes, and Kent and I have our protein shake. I think I'm going to get the Purium one to try that, because I'd like to, I think, try that one. We've just been using the Garden of Life one, the whole meal one. And so I know you said Garden of Life was good too, but I think I'm going to try the Purium one too. I want to do that for Kent and I to try that one. Okay. But I realize, I think the one thing that I'm going through different emotions too with this whole thing, because with mine, I'm going through my own health challenges of being underweight. And I feel that sometimes when I had just the salads and fruits, I wasn't getting enough. And I'm at a weight situation where if I go any lower, I don't want to, it could be a little dangerous for me. So I'm trying to see what I can do to just, like I said, get a little bit more. And I just need to, eat more with the fruits and vegetables. So we're working on increasing our income to be able to purchase more food.
Yeah.
So that's what I just have to get away from, the fear of losing too much, that something, might happen.
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up, all of it. The emotions definitely start to come out, which can be a frustration, but that's why I've added in those emotional clearing sessions for those of you who have done the full program. And those who have not, then you can go ahead and talk with me after and we can get that set up. But those are vital to, because your body, a lot of us are emotional eaters. And so we're shoving food down when we're sad or frustrated or angry, or we're trying to numb out some of the feelings that we might have. And as we clean the body out, those feelings start to come up again. Okay, so there's got to be a way to be able to deal with that. And the energy clearing is really helpful. You can also, if you can't afford that or whatever, say a prayer and ask for God to take that from you. And when you're really specific in your prayers, it really is helpful. So what I would say is just pray and say, please help to, or I would say, like, I've identified these emotions. Please help me to understand what they're tied to. Is there another thing that it's tied to? And then I just wait for a minute and see if there's anything that comes to your mind, or if there's something in your body that starts to you can feel it in your body. If you don't get an answer, that's okay. Just say, what it is that's going on in my body. There's an emotion that may be attached to something in my body. Please help to clear that and get rid of it. And, this is it's a faith promoting thing as we're going through this. And I'm asking you some of these questions, like, how did you feel before and how did you feel after? Because I really want you to start becoming in tune with your body, okay? This is imperative as we go through this, because there are symptoms that will come up that your body's saying, hey, this is a place that needs some attention. Something's going on, like in your knee or some other area. When I do my energy sessions, a lot of times I'll ask, what are the top 3 things that you're dealing with right now that you'd like to clear? And sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional, other times it's mental. There are different things that we need to work on. But our body tells us where they could be, okay? So pay attention to those symptoms. I would write them down. Pay attention to how your body feels after you eat and write that down. You guys need to be journaling as you go through this program, okay? And you can even put it on your phone on a little notepad, or get a small notepad to put in your purse. And or your pocket, Kent. You probably don't carry a purse around. But whatever it takes for you to just jot something down real quick. And that will help you to start tracking what it is that's happening in your body and your mind and your spirit, what emotions are coming up for you. And then we can start pinpointing those in our energy sessions as well as in the coaching sessions, okay? There is a module that talks a bit about the emotions and things. Let me see which one that is. Hold on a minute. I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't have this memorized. I've got a little book here that has all of my things, but
Oh, shoot.
all right, come on. All right, while I'm trying to get this up here, Kent, will you tell us how things have gone for you, please?
I enjoy the shakes a great deal. Eating more fruits and vegetables. I still have, I'm using sandwiches occasionally for my lunch or dinner meal at work. The Ezekiel bed right now.
Okay.
See how that works. I feel about the same. I'm getting more sleep because I'm on a CPAP machine now. That's helping my tiredness in the daytime more. But it's still challenging to work sometimes. They fix treats or they have meals for the people I work with, and I don't get to have those. But I feel okay. I don't feel any real difference either way.
Okay, so are you increasing the amount of fruits and vegetables and decreasing the breads and animal products and all of that?
Somewhat, not completely, but I am somewhat.
Okay, so if I were to say a percentage of how much you've decreased in the animal product arena, what percentage have you decreased that by?
I don't know how to judge it.
Well, you don't have that much of the meat anymore.
I don't have as much.
So
meat.
you don't have chicken all the time. So I think you're
So
doing.
I've tip back chicken a lot. Some other animal meats that may be available from work. So not quite a bit. So it's at least half, I guess. At least half, if not more.
Okay, that was the number that came to my mind is 50%. So.
Well, it's interesting. That may be where my big issue is. I'm trying to control everything, and I want him to do more. So maybe that's my big issue.
Yeah, and that's an important thing. I want the two of you to just separate as far as that's concerned. Kent, if you're not ready to completely get rid of the animal products, that's fine. You've already made a big jump from 100% to 50% here. So that's good. You're not going to, you may start noticing some difference. You said you are getting more sleep. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's good. So that's an improvement. And you will continue to see more improvements as you decrease that to like 0 when you're to that point, when you're willing to do that. And then increasing the raw fruits and vegetables and keeping that fat to the 10%. That's when you're going to start noticing some major energy and things like that.
And probably also with the sprouted bread too, to decrease some of that too might.
Yeah, I would start decreasing that as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I know you're used to breads and things like that. And that's fine. Like I said, we're going through that transition period right now. So don't get discouraged with yourself. And Linda, I want you to back off.
Maybe I'll go hibernate at Karen's for a while. I think I will do that.
No, just allow him to be him and let him work at his own pace. Okay. This is where we're learning some patience and tolerance for ourselves and for others.
Yeah, and it's also for me to have it right in front of my face when I get tempted. And so it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
bring it on, honey, bring it on.
Hey, Linda, remember it's on our call on Arise Daughter Victorious on Unrighteous Dominion. We're not making choices for each other. We just get to make them for ourselves.
I know. I might have been talking to my mom at that time, so I was on a phone call and still her, but I understand that list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Generational.
I know. Well, it's a process. Our healing is a process. So we're going just to allow it to happen when, as it's ready. And it's all good. You're doing great. Okay, I wanted to show you on here real quick. We've got the module 1, which we went over at the first call, the creation eating. Then there are the bonus videos. This you should be able to get on the video program so that you can go through that with me in my kitchen. So make sure you watch this and then get on the rawchefwendyuniversity.com. I did send over an email with all of your usernames and passwords for these two, the Raw Chef Wendy University and then rawchefwendy.com. So you should have that, and if you don't, please contact me and I'll get that to you again. Then module 2 is your snapshot activity, which we also went over on the first call. And then the cycle of addiction we'll go over here in a minute. And then the anxiety and depression is also one that's an important one to do. Each one of these has workbook pages for you to be working through. There is a lot of content here. When I first created this program, I kind of did like the bare minimum. And the next time I created it, I was told by God to just pour everything into it. He said, just give them everything you got. So I have a ton of information, and my promise, or the promise that he gave me, was that if I would do that, that I would receive more, and I have. So I'm at a point now where I'm probably going to start breaking this up into smaller courses. But this, I want you to just go through this course and really get as much out of it as you possibly can. We talked about the emotions, which module 7 is talking about the emotional cleansing. You've got cleansing and detoxing that's going on inside your bodies right now. And then the enzymes, I talk about enzymes here and the importance of them, which is why raw food works. So all of these modules are really important to do. Some of them you might need to go through and listen to out of order, depending on what you are dealing with personally. Okay, some of these other ones, meal planning is another one here. We've got some knife skills. There's just a lot of great information in here.
Wow.
And then at the very end, I'm going to change these out and go ahead and put week 1 and week 2 for this group now.
Okay.
That's where you'll find the videos for the recordings for this. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So any questions, comments, or anything before we get started with this piece?
I guess I wanted to ask you, when you talk about working with you with emotional clearing, what does that entail?
That's a great question. So basically, I have this course that I have been trained in. There are a couple of them, actually. So I have different charts like this, and they've got tabs. So we work through the physical piece, the emotional, mental, spiritual, genetic, and body systems. We ground at the beginning of the session, and we can do this through Zoom, or you can come to my home. It'll be a little bit of a trek for you, Chris, to be able to do that, but we can do it through Zoom with no problem. But there are charts and things that I go through, and I'm doing muscle testing. I actually use a little pendulum because it's a lot faster. This is set up so that I can put it in the center, and it will go to whichever area it needs to go.
Okay.
So every person's session is very different depending on what you personally need. So we go through and clear and ground, and then I start asking those questions of where do we need to go, and then I'll go into one of these other tabs and work on that, and then it usually sends me someplace else. So the sessions generally last for an hour. I've had some. I just did one this morning that was 2 hours long. She had a lot of things that needed to be worked on. but it just kind of depends. The second part of this is integrates the brain. So
Okay.
the brain has been mapped out into a variety of different areas, and she's taught me how to go through the different grids, and we can open up these areas in the brain, and then we can go through the grids and see what specifically is happening. It gets down to the anatomy, injuries, brain injuries, language and behavioral development, if there's been some issues with that, and then soul integration, which is sometimes our soul is off and we need to integrate it back into our body. It's very, very thorough. I've not seen one this thorough anywhere, and it works very effectively. So that's what you'll be going through. And I can't diagnose anything or tell you, you've got
Right.
cancer or you've got this or that. But if you know that you have those issues, then we can start working on that. But energy moves with intention and with visualization. So if we have an intention to go in and start working in an area, we can visualize cleaning that out and repairing and healing. And we integrate this work, and it's been very effective for my clients.
Okay.
This is the program that was used on me when I was going through this 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I really wanted to learn this way of doing it. I did talk therapy when my parents divorced for about 20 years or so, and it was not effective at all. And then I started in with the energy clearing, and within 5 or 6 sessions, it was like 25 years worth of work that was done.
Right.
So these are amazing. I just love it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to address for you, Linda, you talked about you losing weight right now, right? Where you're going through this course.
Yes.
Okay. So how much have you lost so far?
I think I may have lost just 1 pound. I haven't lost a whole lot, but I got to make sure I don't lose any more. I think after I got on the scales after I think the Easter meal, I think I put on a pound or put on some. So,
Good.
but I know that I don't want to have some of the foods that I had yesterday. So it's I just have to figure out what I can do to put on some good healthy weight.
Okay, so Dr. Christopher in the School of Natural Healing is where I got my master's of herbology, and he talked about this happening. He's got a program called The Incurables. And Chris, this would be a good one for you to be on. It's juicing for 4 weeks, basically. So this is for chronic conditions, and he's got a variety of testimonials in here.
What was his name? Dr. Christopher?
Dr. Christopher, yeah. And you can get these through me. This booklet's $3.50.
Okay.
And I can get it sent out to you if you'd like.
Okay.
What he says is when we are starting to clean out our bodies, a lot of times we drop weight down to places that to a person who's not trained with doing this would look at you and say, you are a skeleton and you're going to die, right?
Right.
What's happening is your body is trying to find its new normal, okay? So it's nothing to be concerned about or scared about or anything like that. It's your body is cleaning out, and you said it, the emotions. It's also cleaning out physically and on the spiritual level as well. So what's happening during this time is that as you clean things out, you are losing some weight. It'll be toxins and junk that's been sitting in your system. So you may go down 5, maybe even 10 pounds. When I did this, I lost, I think, about 5 pounds. And my mom said to me, whatever you're doing, you need to stop because you don't look very good. And I said, just hold on. Dr. Christopher said that, this would happen. I'm going to keep going through because I trust what he's saying. So I did. And then I started, when I got down to that new normal or the low, actually it was past my normal, but when I got down to that new low, then my body said, okay, I'm cleaned out enough that I can start adding some weight here. So I added about 5 pounds and got back to where my normal was. Okay. So Linda, I understand that you have that, that worry. I've worked with other clients who've had the same thing where they were underweight. They lost even more. They freaked out, but I said, keep going. And they did. And then they started to gain weight and they got to a normal that was even better from where they started. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So this is a time for you to trust the process, okay, and not get upset or worried about it. Your body's doing exactly what it needs to do, okay? Just keep going. The big thing for you is to make sure, and for all of you, do not go hungry on this, okay? You need to be eating until you feel satisfied or full. It's a different feeling too. You're not going to feel that heavy, full feeling on this food that you're used to.
Right.
Sorry, there's a recycling truck outside, so you can probably hear that right now.
Don't hear it.
Okay. So what did I just say to you?
You want to eat foods to feel satisfied and full.
Yeah, so you may be eating maybe 5 or 6 times a day, and that's okay. Just eat as much as you can. The other thing to know is that we all have microforms. Microforms are the toxins. They're the little critters in the body that go through and clean us out. Do you remember me talking about the trash on that first call that we did on Karen's call?
Right.
So the microforms are like the rodents that come in and they clean out the trash in the body. So when you start taking away the food that they've been eating, the sugar, the processed food, the cooked food, the animal products, all of those things, they get hungry. And so you're going to feel extra hungry for the few, a week or two until your body gets rid of those, the viruses and bacteria and all that stuff. And then you're going to start feeling like you're satisfied. Have you already started feeling that, any of you? Where you're kind of hungry?
I don't feel that hungry.
I sometimes do that, but I know I need to just, probably eat more, of course.
Okay, Karen, you're muted.
I eat often, so I'm doing fine.
Okay, good.
Not feeling hungry. I just eat a banana or whatever.
Okay, that's good. So remember the 80% fruit, that's as much as you can tolerate or eat. You do actually get to a point where you're like, if I had another piece of fruit, I think I would puke. But until you get to that point, just keep eating fruit throughout the day, okay? That's your main source. So how we were used to creating a meal, we always would go with the protein, right? The meat or the casserole dish or whatever it is, that was the main dish. Now I want you to think of your main dish being fruit, okay? And you can do, half a watermelon if you want to at a sitting. I do that in the summertime and it feels so delicious, and I had to work up to that. But I'll eat like an entire cantaloupe or honeydew melon or something in a sitting. This is the portion that I'm talking about. Not just one banana or one apple or one orange. I want you to do as many as you possibly can eat until you are full. Okay?
That's different.
It's very different.
That's very different.
We'll be going to the grocery store every day or something, or no, and that's why we need to have fruit trees all over the place and
I know.
gardens.
Yeah. So this is an important concept because there's this fruit fear that has been prevalent in our society, where doctors will tell people who have these conditions, especially diabetes or cancer or candida, they say, don't eat fruit. That is the wrong advice, okay? And they don't understand this concept that it's not the fruit that's the problem, it's the fat, okay? We talked about the 10%, which is your handful a day. That's all you're allowed on this. And it should be whole food sources. So your olives instead of olive oil, avocado instead of avocado oil, coconut instead of the oil. When you eat the whole food, you get the fiber, all of the nutrients and, phytonutrients and antioxidants, and all of those things that you need to be able to clean out, nourish, and strengthen the body. So those whole food sources are so much more important than the extracted oil. That's 100% fat. We don't want to do that to the body. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then your greens and vegetables is all you can eat as well. You'll notice that you can't eat that much because they just don't fill you up very much. What will fill you up is your fruit, eating in those large quantities. And then the fat is there to be able to help with your brain health and lubrication of the body. And it gives you just a little bit of the fat that you need. But if you have over the 10%, that's where you're getting the spikes in the blood sugar, where the candida is being fed or the cancer cells are being fed, because the fat slows everything down in the bloodstream and it can't get through to go do its job. So be really cognizant of what you're doing with that fat. And you can just have like, over at Costco, I found this granola mix that's a grain-free granola. And it doesn't have any processed sugars or anything. It's just nuts and seeds and I think some raw honey. And it's really good. They also have a granola bar that's made out of the same ingredients. Let me go see if I can find the name of it, Chris, for you. So it's Autumn's Gold. It looks like this.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a good one, but just make sure that you're just doing a little bit. You could have some fruit if you want to and put some over some of the granola on the top. Or you could just eat this with some almond milk, but you know, a small amount, and that would be the fat for the day. Okay. There are also lots of recipes and things in the recipe books that you have. So make sure that you're utilizing those as well.
Okay.
And do some menu planning with that. And if you want some help with menu planning, again, that is down here on your module 11.
Okay.
Okay, so you can go ahead and skip up to that if you want to.
Right.
So Wendy,
Yes.
is it okay to just kind of go through all the modules at our own pace and then just keep coming back to you
Yeah.
every week? Okay, so we
Absolutely.
can
Yeah.
go through them, watch them, go through our workbook, because I printed the whole thing out and got it printed for Linda and Kent and then sent it to Chris just so that, because I just had attached them all and knew that they had paid for it. So
Oh, thank you, Karen.
Good. Yeah, so I'll just go over this. So module 3 is the cycle of addiction. This tells you what happens when you drink a soda. Make sure you go through this because it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that was pretty alarming.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And then questions to ask if you are addicted to food. Most of us are. And then the cycle of addiction is really important. This is one of the most important modules that you have to identify what your cycle is. So I tell you about my cycle, and then I want you to go through and create your cycle of addiction and what that looks like to you, because it could be a little bit different. And then there's another one here that's just a cycle of addiction to, you know, it could be pornography or video games or shopping or work or whatever it is. If you have other addictions, I want you to take this and create your cycle of addiction. I'm not sure where that's coming from.
That's me. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Let me turn it off.
Okay. So this one on page 24 is important to know where your trigger is to identify what triggers you to go into a relapse. And if you can find that trigger, then you can stop it right there instead of having to spiral down into the addiction. Okay. So make sure that you go through this part of the modules because it's a really important one. We talk about reaction versus response here. What cravings mean. This is also in your recipe book. I believe it's in the Reasonably Raw. And then 6 steps to getting healthier. So it's eating a healthy breakfast every morning, planning ahead, be conscious when you eat, Only eat whole foods. These you can substitute things with the list here. Get out of the kitchen and do something that you love, and then be conscious of how you think and talk, okay? And then there's an activity here for you to do. So it's pay attention to how you're thinking. And when you're noticing a negative thought come into your mind about yourself or someone else, stop and recognize it. Then imagine it exploding and replace it with a positive thought, which would be the opposite of what you just thought. And then you can say it to yourself out loud or at least three times, so that that gets imprinted into your mind, okay? And then these are your assignments as well. Ask yourself these following questions, and please answer them on here. And then what's one thing that you want to work on this regarding your thoughts? You also have a tracker here. I call it a live it tracker because I don't like the word diet, because
Right.
we don't want to die, we're living, right?
Right.
So this is your live it tracker, and you can go ahead and track what you're eating throughout the week. And make sure you're tracking your beverages, when you stop eating for the day. That's an important thing too, because a lot of times people eat into the evening. Our bodies actually start slowing down around 8 o'clock or so. That's when it's starting to prepare for bedtime. And it goes into the fasting cycle. That's why we call it breakfast, because we're breaking that fast. So when we disrupt that, that's when the circadian rhythm is disrupted, and it makes it harder for us to get to sleep or to stay asleep. And sometimes we can't get into those REM cycles and things that we need to, because our body's working on trying to digest the food that we just ate. So I want you to stop around 8 or so, so that you can get your body into that natural rhythm and cycle so that you can sleep better. Does anyone have
Are you the one that said it was stop eating like 3 hours before you go to bed? That was something I heard. Was that you?
I haven't said that, but I mean, that's good advice too.
Yeah.
I'd say about 2 to 3 hours. Yeah. Because I usually go to bed about 10. We eat around 6 o'clock, and that last meal is my last one. So I'm usually done by 7. So that gives me about 3 hours. There are going to be times like on the weekends when you want to watch a movie and have popcorn or something like that, and it might be later. Try to choose something healthier, like an organic popcorn, maybe without the butter, or something that would satisfy you. There are times too where I have felt a little bit hungry before I go to bed. So I'll have a banana or two, and bananas actually have some natural melatonin that help you to sleep. Sour cherries do as well. So you could have some of those, and that will help you to sleep. So when my kids say I'm hungry before they go to bed, I used to give them bananas, and they would fall right asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then this is kind of a typical day for me of what I eat, just so that you have that understanding. Any questions on that module?
No.
Okay, and then the next module is number 4. This was about anxiety and depression. I went through kind of the cycle that I go through. Like, it begins with this thought that I'm tired. And then I have a thought, well, why am I doing this? And I just start questioning my purpose in life, and it just gets kind of crazy. That's kind of my cycle, because those are my vulnerabilities. Yours are probably going to be different. So it's good to identify what your cycle of anxiety or depression is, what helps you get started on going down that slippery slope. When you can identify that, then you can stop it in its tracks. And I talk about imagining a door in your mind, and that that thought comes in. Immediately, don't entertain it. Just slam that door shut, okay, and lock it so that you can't have it come in. And then think a different thought, the opposite thought of what you were just thinking. So remember, thoughts become words, which become actions. And this talks more about that as well. Here are some step-by-step defenses against anxiety and depression that you can go through and work through as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lady that I recommend, Mel Robbins. She's got some really good YouTube videos.
Right.
So she talks about doing this 5-second rule.
Right.
So it's good for you to go through that. You can go on YouTube and listen to her as well. And then supplementation, I talked about this. There's some plant-based iron that I use from Garden of Life, which is a liquid form, and that works really well. Most iron, if it's made from rocks or metal, it will give you constipation because it can't get through very well, and it has a very metallic flavor. This one, it has a little bit of a metallic flavor, but it's not too bad. But I've not had no problems with bowel movements or anything like that. And it works really well. I get energy from it. So that's one that I would recommend. Dr. Christopher also has some capsules. They're not as effective as that liquid iron, but it's still better than getting, the stuff that they recommend from the doctors. Garden of Life also has a vitamin D spray and a B12 spray that's really good. You can get these on Amazon or at a health food store. So if you are deficient in those, then go ahead and get that. But B12, don't start supplementing unless a doctor tells you that you need that vitamin. The bodies actually get kind of lazy, and it starts to need to have that, so we kind of create a crutch for ourselves if we're not careful. We talked about the protein powder of Purium. Purium is a company that I like. If you go to ishoppurium.com, then you can go to the website. So this is one that has, you can go to the quick shop here, or you can shop by the category. The reason why I like this company is because they are based out of California. They have very clean, organic, and non-GMO supplementation. Now, I do food first, then herbs, and then supplementation if necessary, okay? A lot of times when you start in with this, you do feel like you need to have some supplementation because your body is lacking all the nutrients from not eating very well for so long. We really need to start helping to replace that. So they do have protein shakes and things. Make sure that whatever protein shake that you get, that you will, that it's a plant-based source. So for example, down here toward the bottom, this one's a Super Meal Love Original. It's $109.95 for 30 days. This is the retail price. And if you go in and use a coupon code, and you can either use mine or Karen's, I don't care, then you can go ahead and get $50 off of your first purchase. So it would only be about probably about $60 or so, depending on the shipping. The shipping is always $9.95. But that would be a good one to get started in. If you do join this, it's like a direct sales type company, but they don't run it like all the other ones, which is what I like about it too. It's just, I'm going to show you this little area here. You don't have to purchase it every month if you don't want to. If you do,
Wendy, can I just interrupt?
yeah.
I made a big $500 order of all of this and just got everything that I felt good about. And I will say that having had a gastric bypass, I have not been able to drink shakes because they give me gut-wrenching stomach aches, anything with whey, even with soy. And I don't know if that protein powder has soy, but I love that it had sprouted quinoa. Everything was sprouted. When I read the list of ingredients and when Wendy introduced it to me, I did my muscle testing and I felt good about it. So I always teach the Joy coaches, do your mind and your heart. If it feels good to your mind, if it feels good to your heart, and you muscle test for it, that's a good indication. You should feel good about it, your mind and your heart. You should feel that desire and that impetus to get that product.
Wait, you're muted, Karen.
Just went mute again.
There you go.
My son loves it. It is so yummy. I do the big shake, the medium-sized one. I
Okay.
can show you the chocolate mint spirulina and the greens all in one shake with a frozen banana. And I love it. It is so filling, and I'm not even hungry during the day. It's awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Something sprouted, and I love that.
Oh, that sounds, yeah.
Karen, what is your code so that they can use that?
How would I even know? How would I know?
I think we did it as your, is it Joy Coaching?
Mm-hmm.
It might be. I'll look it up.
I'm gonna go grab the shake. Can I go grab it so I can show
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah, because I know Kent and I want to try that and see if that's better than the one maybe that we're using, right? We're just doing the Garden of Life one, but if this is a better one, we're interested if it fills it up. Because then Kent can just take the shake to work,
Uh-huh.
and instead of the sandwiches, how did that do when you had the shake?
Okay.
Yeah, well, this other one may fill you up more, especially because Michael takes it to work, and he works, you know, he has to eat on the run sometimes, and sometimes you don't. So that will be good.
Here's the cocoa mint spirulina that I put a scoop in. Here is the green spectrum, organic green spectrum. And so I just put a little scoop of those in. This is the super meal. I muscle tested really good one for this one. It's live and organic. And I can't really read you the ingredients because they're kind of small. But look at the list of ingredients. It's really a big list, and maybe that's on the website. It's a big list of good stuff. And then this one, I love it. Like, I love the flavor of this, even if I don't have a banana.
What is it? What is that?
This one is the Power Shake Appleberry flavor. So it's a large canister. And then this is the smaller chubby canister that I love too. And so these ones must,
Oh, there you go.
so I put these 4 items in my morning shake. And
Wow.
I make it for, it look lovely. I make it for Dell and I in the morning. And then if I feel like that day I want like the fresh juices, then I do the fresh juices instead. But then I do this for lunch. So
See, I would be just fine just having all that stuff and eating fruit. I could just do, because I usually don't like to cook a whole lot.
this has everything sprouted, like spelt, quinoa, like all the proteins.
Okay, we're ordering some.
All right, so I just wanted to show that too. It's gluten-free, it's vegan, it's organic. It's
Love it.
Yeah, there is no soy in it. They use a yellow pea protein, which is great, and it's fermented. So that gives you some good probiotics and things like that too. So yeah, thank you so much, Karen, for sharing that. So I'm going to share my screen again here. So this just tells you how it works. Your first purchase, if you spend $75 or more, you get $50 on your order. Spend $200 or more, it's 25% discount. So the $50 back or toward your order is from Karen's coupon code that we'll give you. Okay, so you get 50 off on a $75 or more order. You spend $200 or more, it's 25% discount. So she spent $500, but she got 25% off of that, which is even more than the $50 code. And then you spend less than $75, there's no discount. You just pay retail. So you don't have to join this company or get a huge order or anything like that. You can just decide what you want to do and go ahead and do it.
And did I get gift certificates in my, or do I not need those? Do I just need to give them a code so they can get $50 off?
I believe with what you got, you have unlimited amounts of them for a full year. So you can just give out that coupon code to anyone you want, and they can purchase and get $50 off their first order.
Maybe you could help me discover what that is.
Sure,
I've
I
got
will.
so many codes and so many things going on.
I just put it down on my list of things to do today. So
And when we come down, Karen, Kent and I may sign up under, just go ahead and get the stuff for under.
yeah. And you can just give the company a call and say, hey, I've got someone I want to sign up underneath me. In order for you to get, your portion of whatever orders there are, you just need to make sure that you've had an order of I believe it's 50 BV. So it's 50 points. It's about $75 worth or so. Make sure that you have that within 30 days. You can sign up for a smart order, which is just like that automatic order every 30 days. And then if you plan on just, signing up a bunch of people, then you can do it that way too. So there are different ways that you can do this. There's no pressure. You don't have to create a business with it or anything, but if you want to, you can, and you can get some good things. If you do monthly purchases, you'll get 25% off of all of those purchases. You can earn 15% off even if you don't order monthly once you've made your initial order. And then purchases over $250, you earn 25% off. Okay, so they make it really easy for you to be able to get some good products without a lot of pressure to do some MLM or something. Okay, you do earn reward points on every purchase, free shipping on $250 or more. And then you can do your smart order every month. And a 60-day money-back guarantee. A lot of them are just 30 days, but they're so confident that you'll love this stuff, but they give you 60 full days to return it if you don't like it. Okay, any questions on that? If you have any more questions or want to do something with this, then contact me and we'll get things going for that.
Okay.
All right, so we've gone through those two that were assigned for last week. For a little bit here, we're just going to do 2 modules each week if we can, so that we can go through this quickly. You are going through a lot of different changes in your body right now, so it helps to go through these modules so that you understand those changes more. And why I'm having you do the 80-10-10 way of eating. So like I said, if you feel like, oh, I need to go to this one with the emotional eating or cleansing, then let's go ahead and do that. Just keep track of which ones that you're referring to, and also the questions that you have as you're going along, and then bring those to these calls. Okay. So I'm just going to open it up. Are there any questions on anything that you've learned this week or the last couple weeks? Any concerns? Karen, I can't see you or can't hear you.
I just want to show, here's a notebook. When you get it all printed out, I still have to paper punch it, and I'm going to put tabs. And then I did order the 80-10-10 book. And Linda asked me to order one for her too, so I got that. So she's going to pick it up when she comes down. But this one looks fun. Chris, did you order this one yet?
I did. I got that, and the journal actually. Or actually, it's the guideline. It's a summary guide of guidelines, like a small version of it or something.
So it's got this. It's this.
It's got that, but it was a breathing guidelines or something.
Yeah. Good. Read through that. It's going to explain all this stuff. It's really a great book.
Oh,
That's
so
great.
excited. Thank you so much, Wendy. We love you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments?
Do you have any other questions, Kent?
No,
What
no,
we're
no,
thinking, I
thanks.
think we're excited to again use some of the shakes even, and Kent can start. Can even start working on getting off the sandwiches, and he'll start seeing how it is with the shakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes he doesn't get time to eat until when you get home at
So-
10 or something.
Sometimes I don't take my break for dinner time until about 9:30.
Okay, so can you take some snacks with you so that you've got some?
I do take apples and oranges and things like that. But
Good.
also, I don't have a lot of time to grab the snacks and eat them that much. I'm helping my residents.
But if he has a drink at 9:30, that'd be better than having a sandwich, wouldn't it? Or
9:30 a.m. or p.m.?
Yeah.
PM. We're trying to get him on a morning schedule and see if it's available for him, and then we'll be shifting lots of different things. So.
Yeah, I would do a juice at that time or a shake, because it's broken down so much that your body doesn't have to concentrate so hard on the digestion. It'll go right to the cells.
Okay.
That's a better way of doing it than a meal. That
Yeah, I
way.
can't do juice because I don't have the time or the
Well-
swim and really do juicing. But
Well, what we were doing too, just so we could get our celery in. I know we don't have a juicer yet, so I just cut the celery, and we had that in the morning, and then had our protein shake. But
Yeah, that's fine. Even if you can just do it, just
I want some.
that's fine. You're still going to get some great benefits from that.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
So that's good. And Chris, what do you think about doing this Incurables program?
Yeah, I'll send you 350 for or shipping so you could send me that.
Okay.
I can PayPal you that.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and get an invoice sent to you and you can pay that. Does that sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one already that we have, so we got it.
Okay. This is a really good one. It does have, you're going to be juicing for 4 weeks, so you choose what juice you want. We can go over this in a call if you'd like to.
Yeah, I started, not this weekend, but last weekend I had juiced carrots and celery. So I was, drinking the juices and
Good.
And you're looking gorgeous.
Yeah, you
Yes.
are.
say the funny things.
Gorgeous. And so send me that book to Wendy and I'll PayPal you or Venmo you the $3.50.
Oh, that's fine. That sounds good.
I have a quick question about the oils, like olive oil, and Kent uses that for massage. Would it be best to get a different oil for massage or not use olive oil at all for anything, huh?
Use the olive oil on your body. The
Oh, just
skin
on
will
your body.
soak it up and it's a nutritive, so going through the skin, it'll be great.
Okay.
And
Still-
Say that again.
So in the Incurables program, it tells you to use, do the 3-oil massage. It's wheat germ oil, olive oil, and castor oil. And what this does is it helps, and you might want to use this, Kent, on your clients, with using those 3, because if you can get it all onto the body, these 3 go into the skin will soak up whatever you put on it. And they're called a nutritive, which means it's nourishing the body through the skin. So oils are excellent for the outside of the skin. We don't put them inside because they kind of clog everything up internally. But if you put them, I'll use it on my face. I've got a green smoothie skin salve. You each should have received a little sample of that. That has coconut oil and I think it might have flaxseed oil in it. And I've used hemp oil in it as well. But these oils are really good for the outside of the body, okay? So don't throw them away or anything like that. Just use them on the outside.
Okay.
So it's wheat germ oil. Wheat germ oil, olive oil, and castor oil.
Yeah, and this is in the book. So
Okay.
he explains how to use it. But that also helps to nourish and strengthen your body and clean things out as well.
Well, your green smooth, what's it called again? The
Green smoothie skin salve.
Yes, it's really wonderful. I love it. So
Good.
I'll order some more of that. That's what I use every morning. I use it on my skin, so it works good.
Oh, I'm so glad. I use it every morning too.
Yeah.
I use it on sunburns for the kids during this during the summer. I've had clients use it on skin cancer and had some really good results. I've had them use it on scars. My son, he fell on his face. He had his helmet on, but he didn't have any protection on his face when he was on a bike ride when he was younger. And he got all these scars, it wasn't scars or scabbing because it never did that, but it was just like road rash all on his face. And then he had some on his arms and feet or legs. So I put that on there. It never scabbed over. I just kept putting it on and he has no scars whatsoever.
Wow.
So it's phenomenal stuff. It's great to have for your emergency kit and just on hand at all times.
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So what about FCO? That's not a good oil to use, huh? It's more the sweet germ castor and olive oil versus the fractionated coconut oil?
You can use the fractionated coconut oil. That should be fine, but that's generally for a carrier oil with essential oils, right? Yeah. So in regular coconut oil, if it's cold pressed, is fine to use too.
Okay. Yeah, I've used that sometimes.
The medical medium, which we'll talk about in this course as well, he uses, actually we talked about it last week, for the Epstein-Barr virus and the 28-day cleanse. He does use a little bit of the coconut oil internally, about a teaspoon if you want to per day, but that's the limit. I wouldn't say any more.
A teaspoon of the cold press?
Yeah, and that helps with viral infections. So it's an antiviral.
Yeah, I was doing that for a while, but I actually was doing like a tablespoon.
Yeah, that gets to be too much, and that's where it starts to clog up the bloodstream and the veins and things like that. So
Okay.
just be careful. Any
Okay.
other questions?
I just want to report that Goldie is turning fruitarian.
Yay!
He loves bananas and oranges and carrots.
Good.
I did a beautiful orange the other day, and he was just begging, so I did a little segment, and he just loved it. So now he eats oranges and bananas, and he's
Wonderful.
He's adorable.
Yeah, with oranges, does that have a lot of citric acid in it or doesn't it? So, because I know Kent, I think, is supposed to be off citric acid, but I wasn't sure.
Why is that? Why are they saying that?
Or was that, I can't remember whether that was on his hair analysis report. Or
So
I thought I read something, but maybe I'll review it again to see.
no, generally citric acid is, it's like with your, if you were to take a vitamin C pill, that's where they take, well, that's the ascorbic acid. So that's like, it's like isolating the ascorbic acid so that they can specifically do something. They do that so they can patent it and sell it. So I wouldn't worry about that. Just, again, we're doing whole foods.
Okay, all right. How about with honey? Is it okay to have a little teensy little thing of honey, or
Honey
is
is
that,
great. It's an antiviral, antibacterial, but just make sure it's pure honey.
yeah, pure raw honey? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the honey out there now is not even close to honey anymore. They're really tainting the supply of our food.
We got some in Costco, so hopefully the labeling's correct, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Usually raw honey is kind of thick and it can crystallize. So
Okay.
if it's a liquid honey, then they generally put something else in there.
Okay,
So just be
Thanks.
careful.
all right.
Good questions. Chris, did you get your welcome pack from me?
Well, I got the 2 books. Yeah, I got the 2 cookbooks.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing this other thing you were talking about.
All right. So I need to send that to you as well.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining today.
Thank you. Thank you, Wendy.
Please
Great.
keep working ahead. And
Yeah, thank you.
if you have any questions, again, bring them to the next call.
Okay.
And we also need to be making sure that you're getting your coaching calls, your private coaching calls, as well as energy sessions. And you get like 6 coaching calls, I believe,
Oh, wow.
if you've gotten the full packet. So you can change some of those into energy sessions too if you want. So we can kind of mix and match according to what your needs are. Okay?
What do you mean? What's the difference between an interview session and a coaching call?
The energy session.
Oh, the energy. Oh, yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Exciting. Well, thank you, Wendy.
Yeah,
Get a
thank
hold of me
you.
and we'll get those scheduled, okay?
Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks. Have a great day, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you. God bless.
Bye, everybody.
Bless you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.